Lots of revenge games this week. Let's get right into the video. What's up, Couch fam? Every Thursday, I'm coming out with my weekly fantasy football rankings, and these are my Week 13 PPR rankings for fantasy football. Let's start off with the quarterbacks. The top 5 is going to be my elite tier, and Tua falls just right outside of that elite tier 1 just this week. He's going to have his biggest challenge this year going against the 49ers. It's an away game. Weather is not terrible. Could be a little bit of rain, maybe a little bit of wind. It's going to be a tough matchup, probably a close game and medium scoring. So I have Tua as QB6. I still like him. I still think he's a safe start and a very good start. But I'm really looking forward to these 5 quarterbacks that have tremendous upside. Chiefs, Bengals, that's Joe Burrow at number 5, QB5, Patrick Mahomes, QB1. This game's going to be very high scoring, very exciting. Josh Allen is always super elite. He could be QB1 or QB2. I guess some people may rank him QB3 some weeks. Jalen Hurts, Justin Herbert, that's the top 5 right there. And then it gets a little bit tricky. Lamar Jackson, I absolutely love this week. This is going to be another high-scoring game. Perfect weather conditions because it's in a dome. That's going to be the Lions-Jaguars game at Detroit. 2 guys I really wanted to talk about is Deshaun Watson and Mike White. So Deshaun Watson, I'm telling a good amount of people to bench him. He's my QB9. I like him this week. I really do think he's going to be very successful this week and put up good fantasy points. But you've made it this far without him. So my advice is basically don't go out your way to start him. If you somehow made it this far with a crappy quarterback or you got Tom Brady or something, yeah, go ahead and start Deshaun Watson for sure. But if you have a top 6 quarterback like Tua or better, why risk it? Just start them. If Deshaun Watson goes off on your bench, that's good news. It's not like the end of the world. That's great. Now you have 2 elite quarterbacks. What's so bad about that? A lot of Mike White questions. I'm telling people to bench Tom Brady and start Mike White. I do like Mike White. It's kind of similar to Deshaun Watson, though. A little bit of risk here. I do expect him to do well. I am a Mike White believer. I think he's going to be great, but there is risk. We've seen very small sample size, and he's been a pretty up and down quarterback. He's either balling or terrible, and we've only seen him play a few games this year and last year, but he is risky. So I have him as QB12. I think that's doing him a good amount of respect. I have him ahead of Geno Smith, ahead of Derek Carr, who should be in a shootout game. So I do like him, but kind of similar to Deshaun Watson. If you have a top 6 quarterback, or maybe in this case, even like a top 9 quarterback, why do that? Why start Mike White? There's really no need for that. I got Tom Brady at QB 17. And Jared Goff, I'm going to get into some questions about him. Yes, I would start Jared Goff over Mike White. Mike White offers a little bit more upside, but I'm going with a safe quarterback in Goff, who's played a lot of games and has a great matchup and is in a shootout against the Jaguars. Justin Fields, full practice today. Just wanted to note that. So he's going to be moving up or down on my rankings. I don't know where. By the way, if you do want to see the complete written rankings, just for ease, you go to my website, fantasycouch.com/rankings. Moving on to running backs. Ramondre Stevenson, ladies and gentlemen, could be the best running back this week. You can have him ranked RB as high as like RB2. I think RB1's pushing it a little bit, but the guy can catch. He's talented. He's a power runner, and he's got the use. He just looks great. He looks great on the team. He looks great as a fantasy running back. We all love him, and those that drafted him are really getting paid in dividends here. Saquon Barkley, a little bit of worry. Christian McCaffrey said he feels great. He is practicing. Now, that is a great sign, by the way. I expected him to play. I didn't expect him to practice much, but today's Thursday. He's practicing. He said he's feeling great. I love Christian McCaffrey, and I'm going to go ahead and rank him a couple spots higher. Let's rank him right there. You know what? I'm going to rank him even higher. No Eli Mitchell, no Jeff Wilson. Christian McCaffrey, as long as he's healthy, should do well against the Dolphins. I love him. Look, I still like Ramondre Stevenson. I'm saying you can rank him as high as RB2 for sure. Let's do it. All right. Joe Mixon, still no word yet whether he is going to play. I fully expected him to play, and I might be really stupid. I just dropped Samaje Perine in one league, and it could be really dumb. We'll see how dumb it was. I wanted to take a risk. It's a must-win situation where I'm like outside of the playoff picture, barely trying to make it, and we have very limited bench spots. It's a different type of league, so I dropped Samaje Perine. That could be dumb. Hopefully, I don't look dumb tomorrow when Joe Mixon is cleared from the concussion protocol. But as of now, limited practice. I don't have much more news on the Mixon situation. If he does play, he's a must start. Okay, just scroll down just a little bit just so you can see some more of my rankings. Does not seem like Michael Carter is going to play. That would make Zonovan Knight a incredible start. Might even have to rank him a couple spots higher. Yeah, if Michael Carter doesn't play, Zonovan Knight is borderline a must start. I don't want to call everybody a must start. I don't like to exaggerate things, but definitely like a mid RB2 around there, almost top 15. Top 15. He's top 20 right now. So yeah, he's gonna be a great start. So those of you that picked him up, good for you. That's a great pickup. From waivers. Let's move on to wide receivers. Oh, Fournette is healthy, so we might even have to move him up a couple spots. Fournette's healthy. Rachaad White owners are a little bit scared. And this news is like just coming in right now. So I'm going to move Rachaad White one spot down. Fournette's healthy. Crazy. Things change quick. Moving on to wide receivers, and that's going to move us on to the bold prediction of the week, brought to you by Sleeper. AJ Brown is facing the Titans, and I honestly did not do this because of the revenge game. I'm not like a tabloid guy either that just reads too much into stuff that everyone else is reading too much into. But I did make this pick, and then later on I was like, oh yeah, this is his former team. There could be a little bit extra motivation there, but that is not why I picked him. I picked him because he's a good wide receiver. I think the Titans are going to stop Miles Sanders. They're going to limit Jalen Hurts' rushing yards. Not a lot. He's still going to be great, and he's going to scramble well. So I'm thinking a lot of scramble plays. He'll get some rush yards like he always does. But it's going to be a lot of scrambling and finding A.J. Brown. It's pick your poison when you're defending the Eagles' defense. You can't stop both Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts running. You can't stop both A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith in the pass game. You got to pick your poison because they have so many weapons, and they are a really good team. And Jalen Hurts is playing very well. He's in the MVP conversation. I think he's actually number 2, according to Vegas, most likely to win MVP, ahead of Josh Allen, I think. We just looked at this yesterday on the live stream. So I love A.J. Brown. I'm very bullish on him. It's not even really that bold of a prediction, I don't think. But I'm going to go ahead and put A.J. Brown as my wide receiver 4, just behind Stephon Diggs. Let's do it. You know what? Let's do it. Wide receiver 3, A.J. Brown. Love him this week going against the Titans. Titans will stop the run, but they will not stop the A.J. Brown. I guess one way that could be totally wrong is if Devontae Smith is pretty hurt, can't play or something like that, because he is technically questionable right now. That happens and they triple team A.J. Brown. Somewhat unlikely scenario, but if it does happen, I could see that falling apart. Okay, moving on. Jamar Chase is going to play, or is fully expected to play this week. I would go ahead and start him. I would also temper expectations just a little bit. He is not 100%. Okay, he may not even be 90%. So at best, he's 90%. He's probably closer to 80%. That's still good enough for me to start Jamar Chase, especially in a game like this against the Chiefs. We're going to see a lot of touchdown, a lot of offense from both sides of the field. And I will scroll down a little bit. Keenan Allen, start him. Chris Godwin is almost back to his old self, which means basically you want to pretty much start him every week. Okay, Deebo Samuel is hurt a lot. I'm very, very worried about Deebo Samuel. I like Zay Jones. You guys know I was on Zay Jones a few weeks ago. Got to get him before the trend, before people start picking him up. Obviously, Brandon Ayuk would get a huge boost if Deebo Samuel is injured. And you know what? Donovan Peoples-Jones, man, I think he's kind of a must start here. I think we're going to have to boost this guy at least a little bit. At least here. I really like DPJ this week. I like him a lot. And Christian Watson, we may have to start him as well. He's just been absolutely on fire. I like him. We got to put him ahead of Lazard. Let's do it. There we go. And my guys. Lots of wide receiver options. Look at Mac Hollins. Mac Hollins is a great start. Tyler Boyd is a great start and a great GPP pick. There's a lot of good, look at the top 37. I love Tyler Boyd and above. It's so hard to rank these guys. Treylon Burks, keep tabs on him. Let's see how he does this week in practice. All right, let's move on to tight ends. The toughest prediction to predict pretty much here. Travis Kelce 1, Mark Andrews 2. We're going to see that every single week. But Pat Freiermuth is kind of becoming a top 3 tight end. He is sort of in that elite or really good range, kind of in between there. Tyler Higbee was hurt last week. Keep that in mind. If he is 100% healthy, I love him to get a ton of targets. It's going to be tough to start him over guys like Schultz and Kittle, for sure. Okay, so if I had these 3 guys, hey, I might bench Higbee. I get it. But I just want to make it clear that this guy is going to get a ton of targets if he's healthy, no matter who's at the quarterback position. I like the matchup here against the Seahawks. I like that they're going to be playing from behind. And I like that Higbee is going to get a lot of garbage time points if he's healthy. Now, always keep in mind, teams like the Rams, like the Texans, maybe even the Bears, like teams that are in shambles or playing for the future. And I don't want to speak ill of the Bears or anything, but definitely the Rams. Just the Bears' record's not that great, and they have injuries. The Rams for sure, though, they're broken. They're terrible. They're trying to push the reset button, but they traded all their draft picks, so I don't think there's a reset button to push there. So just keep in mind, these teams that are in shambles, that are tanking, and weird things can happen. I don't know if Higbee will play. I don't know, maybe they bench him in the fourth quarter. Weird things happen with teams like this. So temper expectations in a different dimension where the Rams are a real team and they have a real quarterback and they're competing this year. I'd be moving Higbee way up. And Higbee was healthy. Okay. Evan Ingram had a terrible game last week. I do expect him to bounce back, by the way. I have him as a top 10 tight end. And Njoku not practicing. Could be just rest. That's my theory. Just so keep tabs on Njoku. Let's move on to the defenses. Now, I have the Packers D at defense number 9. I need to know if Justin Fields is playing, bro. Let me know. Somebody let me know. Justin Fields full participation today. I'm getting worried here. I'll probably still roll with the Packers D. Maybe I'll roll with the Vikings because they have a good matchup in the playoffs. I don't know what I'm going to do here. So this is the defense that I don't know where to rank. I don't know if Justin Fields is playing. I don't know what's going on there, so keep tabs on Justin Fields. But other than that, we do have great options, and you can easily stream a defense this week because it is so close. Seahawks were the number 1 defense I stashed last week. May even had the Browns D in a league or two. But the Seahawks are my number 3 defense going against the Rams. We talked about the Rams just now. Cowboys D and Ravens D are both elite, so this is kind of like tier 1. You can rank this really anyway. Like, I love both of them. Broncos are going against Russell Wilson, and the Cowboys, they're just elite, and they're going against the Colts, who can fall apart. The Colts are really up and down, like really up and down, but at least they got JT. They have a coach that never coached in the NFL, but he's already better than Nathaniel Hackett. Like, so it's a mess. What's going on with the Broncos? But anyway, Browns are a good streaming defense. I do not trust them, though. That's the thing. So there's really not a big difference between number 4 and like number 10. Just being honest, like, yeah, you're going against the Texans. It's the sweetest matchup of all time, but the Browns D just isn't really that good. Now, why I like the Browns D, though, this week is that they're not really good with like yards, and I mean, you can run on them. You can do a lot of things. You can move the ball on them, but they do have big play opportunity here. Myles Garrett, I see some big plays. I see some sacks. I see some QB pressures. I see some potential turnovers. I see a messy situation, defensive touchdown. So the upside is there for sure. And look, I had them ranked as my number 4 defense ahead of the Bills. Von Miller is out. He's on IR, but he should be back, or hopes to be back in a few weeks at least. So he's hoping he'll be back in December. Shouldn't be a season-ending IR designation there. All right, let's move on to kickers. We have a lot of good options here. Lots of good options. I'm pretty confident in my top 11. Hopefully you can get a top 11 kicker. And kind of my tier. Where's my tier here? It's kind of top 8. Top 8 is my tier 1, Brett Maher or better. So lots of good options this week. Very confident in my kickers. I know I say that every week, but it's getting better and better. Last week, I think we only had 2 blunders. Okay, that's pretty good. The rest were on point. And who would have thought Brett Maher would do that? That made no sense. That was a fluke. Excuses, though. We don't play the excuse game. Anyway, try to get a top 11 kicker if you can. But I really do think you'll be able to get a top 8 kicker. Guys like Evan McPherson, Brett Maher, Jason Myers, Cameron Dicker, they're available in a good amount of leagues. At least one of those 4 are. If not, if you're in a deeper league, one of these guys is guaranteed to be available. Riley Patterson, Michael Badgley, Robbie Gould. I think that's good. After that, it's pretty tough. It's pretty tough. It's tough to predict what's going to happen. If you have Nick Folk, I mentioned this before in the waiver video, it's okay to roll with him tonight and keep him because his week 14 and week 15 matchups are super elite. So elite that he could be the best kicker week 14 and 15. So I do like Nick Folk. I just don't know what's up with Thursday Night Football. He can get you 1 point or 15 points. I don't know, so I'm ranking him a little bit low. Situation with Cade York. I think Cade York could be number 1 potential in fantasy points this week. That's how much I love him. But he misses a lot of kicks, like a lot. It's getting a little bit worrisome. He's got the leg. Like, he looks good. Like, he has a lot of fans. Like, I get it. He's exciting, but it's like the dude's missing some pretty big kicks. And we just don't want that as our fantasy kicker. He's a guy that I just cannot rely on. That's what it is. All right, guys, enough talk about kickers. That's going to do it for this video. Make sure you subscribe to this YouTube channel. Subscribe to our second YouTube channel. It's called Fantasy Couch Podcast. Subscribe to both. It really helps out. It's free. It means a lot to me. Thank you guys so much. I read every single comment. If you want to drop a comment, want to drop a fantasy question, I'm going to check it out. Good luck this week. See you guys on the next video.